Hello, engineers. Welcome to Uhandisi Talks. As usual, I'm your host, Marian Golda. Happy Mashujaa Day, and it's a great moment we have here. Um, a few weeks ago, we had a conversation with an agricultural and biosystems engineer, Joram, and the discussions was just so amazing. And so we decided to do a second part to that discussion and delve deep into engineering food security, which is something that he's actively doing. And as we discussed in our previous conversation, we found out that this young engineer has an organization and doing amazing things, contributing to food security in our country. So Joram is an agricultural and biosystems engineer, as I've said, a founder of an organization, Big Pharma, and he is here with us today. You're most welcome, Joram, to this live.
Thank you so much. Happy Mashujaa Day.
Happy Mashujaa Day. So last time we had a very interesting conversation and we started talking about things like hydroponics and we started talking about food security. But before we go on, could we just get like an overview of what food security is and what that means for our country and for the world?
Okay. Yeah, food security, what we know it by is the ability of a community or social setup to have access to all the resources or agricultural inputs, food and nutrition, to have that variety of food, to have the variety of inputs easily accessible to them. So that's what food security is. Yeah, actually, there's also food sovereignty, but then that's on a higher level. Now, once we achieve this food security, there comes in food sovereignty. So, food security is actually an important concept for everyone to understand before. It's not just talking about hunger and having the food ready. Yeah.
Okay, that's so interesting. So there is security first, then sovereignty.
Yeah.
Because I actually had you last time mention the word food sovereignty, and in my mind, I thought it's the same as food security. So what's the difference?
So the difference comes with control. With food security, you can be able to get access to all this, the ability to gain access to the food, the inputs required for agriculture, and all the resources for it. But with food sovereignty, is for us to have control over what type of food, the resources, I mean the inputs and the materials we use in agriculture now that we
Mm-hmm.
have within our control. You see, now
Mm.
we can have food security, but
Mm.
now it can be controlled by a foreign or an outsider who has some interest in
Okay.
making, maybe we want enough food accessible to everyone, but
Mm-hmm.
one way to do it is through genetically modified organisms. That is
Mm.
one way you'll achieve
Mm.
food sovereignty, or I mean food security through that. But with
Mm.
food sovereignty, having the
Mm.
ability to choose, am I
Mm.
going for this or this one
Mm.
sufficiently? Yeah, that
Okay.
freedom of choice.
Okay. Okay. So food security is, it's kind of like having like, from my understanding, having something basic like we have the food, like people are not hungry. So, and then maybe sovereignty is about the source, like um, we can control. And now talking of food sovereignty, I was wondering, because not every country has enough arable land. So, what's the situation in Kenya? Do we have enough arable land? And for countries without enough arable land, is it possible to achieve sovereignty?
uh, Actually, in Kenya right now, if I will just mention, because I will not give the exact figures to the last decimal
Hmm.
point,
Okay.
but we have around 1 million hectares in Kenya
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm,
arable land.
mm,
Yet the one that has been utilized for maybe irrigation, especially for irrigation, is less
mm.
than 14%. And that is
What?
something I learned in 2023. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I rechecked it back again, there's no much improvement despite the efforts that the government have put in that whole investment of agriculture. So we
Mm.
have a huge potential in Africa as a whole has a huge potential in arable farming. I mean, in agriculture, arable land
Okay.
is way more than we can uh, utilize it. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So then, where is the problem then? If we have the land, yet we import the food, what's happening? What's happening in between?
yeah. It's all about business. So one thing I can say about why we import food yet we have enough land is that we have not been equipped to that level where we can sustainably produce our own food without relying
Mhm.
on foreign aid. And we
Mm,
have this mentality of now because we have to depend on foreign aid. That is why there's no need for us to go an extra mile to do things for ourselves. And a
mhm,
problem that is there is that there is high quality food that is being exported from
mm,
Africa, maybe
mm,
Kenya to be specific, to the other nations outside Africa
mm,
of high value, yet we don't have enough for ourselves. So there are people do it just for business and earning
mm,
money.
mm.
And yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. So what kind? Okay, I just know coffee. Was it coffee? I mean, I'm so sorry. Hi, is that your daughter? Oh my goodness. Hello. How are you?
I-
So I was
okay.
thinking the only one I remember is agriculture. No, coffee. What we export and avocados.
Hmm.
And then I think we
Hmm.
import what maize. So I was thinking
Hmm.
of, okay, let's look at the basic food. I mean, is it not basic staple food in Kenya? Maize. And
Hmm.
last time you were talking to us about how big pharma is trying to contribute to food sovereignty in our nation, and things like maize, the staple food. Is it possible now to bring like all kinds of crops or foods, especially in the city setup, like with hydroponics and other methods? You'll tell us if there's any other methods at all. Is it possible to grow all kinds of staple food that people love in a given nation?
Okay. With hydroponics, I think hydroponics is limited to a certain sector of food. Maize, for example, okay, it cannot do under hydroponics
Mm-hmm.
because I've not seen where it has worked before.
Mm,
So it is majorly centered around horticultural crops and also fruits that
mm,
don't have deep rooted structures. So
mhm,
hydroponics can only work with these crops that only need short periods of growth, number one, and
mm,
they
mm,
also don't require a lot of input to grow them.
mm.
Long perennial crops cannot do under hydroponics. And
Okay.
with hydroponics, I can also say that okay, we can supply. It's about enriching or the supply of these varieties, especially with
Mm,
the vegetables. You see in Kenya right now,
mm.
what we are usually used to is kales and spinach, and there is a limited variety of vegetables that is around the
Yeah.
market. but we
Mm,
can broaden that through hydroponics. Yeah, we can have the ability to produce more in small spaces.
mm. So, do we have another kind of maybe innovation or technology to be able to? And I really think hydroponics is a very thoughtful thing, even if it's limited to not deep rooted um, uh, 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 um, plants. I can call them plants. But then, are there other innovations that would help us move to food security, food sovereignty, apart from hydroponics, especially now when we go to the millions of acres of land, arable land that we have in our country? And what are the barriers that are preventing us from utilizing the potential that we have?
Yeah, I think there is a huge potential when you talk about the technology involved around irrigation. I mean, developing these large scale areas for food production and improving our food security. I think most of the time, even me before, I was thinking about food production as maybe we
Mhm.
need a certain type of technology, something
Mm,
unique, just like
mhm.
hydroponic is,
Something
to
big.
improve.
Oh, sorry, we lost you. We are having a conversation on engineering food security with Joram Mochiemo. He's an agricultural engineer, agricultural and biosystems engineer, and also founder of Big Pharma, an organization called Big Pharma. And through his organization, he's trying to contribute to food sovereignty. And he's told us food sovereignty is higher than food security. So I think he's having a bit of technical challenges, but I want to appreciate everybody who has joined us in our live today. Please feel free to comment, ask questions. I'll be able to see them on my screen and point them out to Joram. Thank you so much for joining. So let's take a short break and give him a moment to sort out the technical issues. Thank you.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, sorry, no problem. Just a moment. I had just I put the music so that the viewers don't get entertained. um, just one moment. Interesting. Oh, yeah, figured it out. Fantastic. Thank you. You were talking to us about barriers to utilizing the arable land we have in Kenya and also other ways that we can achieve food security, food sovereignty, maybe outside the city or where we have the arable land. And you're telling us how we don't need the big, technologies as we might have imagined.
Yeah, yeah. What I was saying, like the technologies that we are thinking about, we want something fancy, especially with what is happening in fintech right now.
Mm-hmm.
You just want something cool, something that is so
Joram, we lost you again. Hello.
find a better way of producing these things. We haven't even seen the results of doing irrigation first of all. and
Okay.
uh, doing irrigation using these natural conventional ways of agriculture first to produce
Mm-hmm.
enough food. You see, when we talk
Mm-hmm.
about these arable lands that have not been explored already,
Mm-hmm.
if you
Okay.
just explore those lands and use them to produce food at the moment,
Mm.
you will
Mm.
realize that the production of food will go higher, even if you use those machineries
Joram, we
that are
keep
used.
losing you.
I don't. Could it be the network, or maybe can stop using the mic?
No, it's not the mic. It's not the mic at all. I think it's the network because it freezes. But you were really okay at the
Okay.
beginning. I'm not very sure what's going, but now I can hear you clearly. Maybe you can just continue. I'll let you know if anything comes up. But at the beginning, it was really good.
Okay. I think it's the slow
After
internet.
yeah, after the time that you dropped off, now when you came back, it wasn't very good.
Okay. Let's go on. We see where the
Yeah.
problem came
Okay.
from.
Please carry on.
Yeah. So the solution lies with us, and it's very simple. It's
Okay.
just convention. Oh God, I don't know why it's happening. It's the part where irrigation is a. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. We can hear you, Jerome. We can hear you.
So I'm saying that irrigation is one
Yeah.
of the simplest things that has not yet been explored to its full capacity in Kenya.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I think it's also something that has been going on. You even we saw it with the Galana Kulalu project. And I
Mm.
think that is one of the projects that has been so controversial. And
Mm.
the potential that project had in improving the food security of Kenya was a
Mm.
big, big thing. But when you stall a project like that, you
Mm.
are giving people an opportunity to get into the business of importing food now from
Mm.
other countries.
Mm.
And
Okay.
for us, there was a problem there to do with water.
Mm.
It's around Tana River,
Yeah.
and the capacity that was projected to be used in that farm was about 1 million cubic per day,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very huge amount of water and could
Mm.
affect other people
Mm.
and in the other side of the river, maybe downstream after
Mm.
Galana. But
Mm.
the potential it had to help in improving that food
Mm.
supply in Kenya was a great one. So, in my view, is that we already have the solutions with us. We have more
Mm.
solutions
Yeah.
than the problems we have. It's only that we
Mm.
are not trying to solve those problems using the solutions we have at the moment.
Okay. 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 So what I'm hearing is we have irrigation that we haven't fully utilized. We have millions of arable land that we haven't fully utilized. And then we have also a solution to agriculture in the city setups. So the question is, what's preventing us? What are the barriers? Is it policies? Is it what is it?
I think I lost you.
Okay, I was saying, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
I was saying from what we have discussed so far,
Hmm.
we're getting that we have millions of arable land that hasn't been utilized. We haven't fully utilized irrigation as well, and we have a solution to agriculture in the city setup with hydroponics. Then my question then is, what's preventing us? What are the barriers? Is it policy or what is it?
Hmm. First of all, I wouldn't say millions of arable land because
Didn't you say millions of acres? Did
one
I get it
it's
wrong?
one no no it's around 1.1 million hectares of arable land we have.
All
So when
right.
it's of millions, it's beyond 10.
I'm sorry, my bad.
It's okay, it's okay. So uh one of the things I think that is the problem, yeah, there's a big problem between uh, planning of these resources
Mm,
and stakeholders involved in the whole agricultural sector to
mm,
ensure the success of these things. First of
mm,
all, you'll realize that when it comes to farming in Kenya, it has been divided into very small sections. We have
mm,
the small scale farmers, and you
mm,
see, a small scale farmer is considered someone who has two, maybe less than 3 acres of land. That is a small scale farmer. And there are people, when you talk of people who have above 3 acres of land and do farming, I don't think there are that many when you compare to those, because you can find someone owns even 1,000 acres of land, another person has maybe less than half an acre of land, and this the majority of people who own land have less than 3 acres of land in Kenya. And you will realize that those who are at the center of making these policies are those who are highly invested in farming with large scale farms. And you'll always find that when these policies are being made, they are made in a way that they will only consider those people who high have large parcels of land. And having that, it creates a problem because they will only serve their interests. What is it that will benefit me or my business as a farmer from this point? And sometimes you'll find that these policies they pass across, they will conflict with this small scale farmer. There are simple ones. Maybe they can say, we do to promote farming, we can we can maybe subsidize the cost for fertilizer for a given quantity purchased, so that a farmer can be encouraged to buy maybe more bags of fertilizer so that they can produce more. But in the real sense, that will only benefit the large scale farmer. But for a small scale farmer, even if he gets to buy a lot of bags with that amount of money, he still can't use all of the fertilizer in a small piece of land. So with the policies, I think it's something very controversial, and we need to have uh, a smaller we need to have a representation of these small scale farmers, which is something that has been really echoed and has been really advocated for by the uh, current Ministry of Agriculture that is serving. They are really looking forward to support these small scale farmers. Yeah, it will take a long time, but there is hope in that, in achieving that goal.
okay, okay, okay. Now, when you're talking of that, I was also thinking about. I think the country that came to my mind is it Israel? I've heard a lot of people talk about Israel when it comes to agriculture, and and then also when you're talking about how it is that we don't need very complicated, technologies. But then I don't know, you might know more uh, compared to me. Um, but what is the country that you feel at the moment has reached that place of attaining security, food sovereignty? And is it that food security is discouraging imports, exports, or what is it? So just the two questions, because we've
Okay.
always talked of imports in not a very good light. So is food security discouraging importing food, and also what country do you think has gotten to that level of attaining food sovereignty or food security?
Okay. One, I would say one country you mentioned Israel. Yeah, I think Israel is among the first. I can put it under the first world countries in terms of agriculture. Among that will be Japan, and yeah, this small, yeah, Japan is one of them, but Israel is so big on agriculture. It followed closely with the house the Middle East is investing on the same. So Israel, to start with it's actually food secure, that I can say. And by saying food secure, I think I mentioned food imports in a light that we can see it as a bad thing to import food. But
Mm-hmm.
security
Mm.
is about those people being able to, maybe a given country to be able to have access to these things
Yeah.
uh, easily. So
Mm.
with imports, it also provides another avenue for us to get more food for ourselves to
Mm-hmm.
consume.
Mm.
So, and when I talk of food sovereignty, now it goes back to the control, where
Mm.
it's the country is able to choose. Now this is what we will have to consume, and we
Mm.
have a variety. We have many options to
Mm.
take from.
Okay.
But now when you don't have food sovereignty, you'll be getting leftovers from other countries. Like there was a time we had that the maize we used to get from Mexico
Oh yeah.
was food for horses and
Oh yeah.
just livestock
Mm.
that
Mm.
we consume it as food. Now you see we need that freedom where we can have to choose what we can take, not just we import leftovers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. True. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Okay. That's actually now clear. That's not so. So that's clear how you put it. Now, I have some things I'd like to display, and I wanted to display last time when you're talking about hydroponics and food sovereignty, especially on the city setup. So before I do that, maybe you can now bring us to what you're doing, because normally I don't like a lot of far-fetched things, like talking about big things and problems without, how can we bring it home and what can we do now. And we we touched on it in our last session, your organization, and you're actually doing something, and congratulations, because you're a very young engineer. I was very impressed. So maybe you can tell us um, how Big Pharma is contributing to food. You said food sovereignty. I think it's sovereignty. I keep confusing the two. But you can give us, for those who are not there, you can give us a bit of background. Don't give them a lot because it's on their last video, but just a little bit, and how Big Pharma is contributing to food sovereignty in Kenya. So sorry about that. We've lost Jaram again. I think he's having a bit of internet issues. But we're talking about food security, how we can achieve food security. Um, One moment. I think it's back. Jaram, welcome back.
Yes, yes.
Did you get my question?
Yes, I did, to the
All
point you are. I can. Was there anything else you mentioned after you said for those who are not around?
No, I've also actually forgotten, but I wanted you to tell us about contributing, how Big Pharma, your organization, is contributing to food sovereignty in Kenya. And I also wanted to show them a bit of the things that we're talking about. If you allow me, I think I've seen a lot of interesting things on your LinkedIn as well. Is it okay if we share here?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so I might share them as you keep talking, but just tell us how Big Pharma is contributing to food security in Kenya.
Okay, okay. When you talk of food security and food sovereignty, that is
Mm-hmm.
part of our mission and
Mm,
vision. Part of it is mentioned it in our vision and mission. So
mm,
it's not a direct like impact. Like now you have impacted food sovereignty or food security directly, but it's the small steps that we keep making, especially now through the services of using the small technologies that are available and
mm,
just opening up more spaces for agriculture to happen
mm,
and more food to be produced. So for us, we have measured basically on increasing the food production aspect, whereby we want to open it up to cities.
mm.
You see now when we talk of when I was saying about we don't need more many complex solutions, I can
Yeah.
consider hydroponics as a bit complex solution because we can't say that we have exhausted all the land in Kenya that we have so that we can now start using hydroponics as a solution. But for an
Really?
urban setup,
Okay, okay. Now that's clear. I was ready to fire a question because I was so shocked. Okay, now you're making it clear. You
uh,
said, okay,
uh,
proceed.
yeah, but
Ah,
for an urban setup,
mm-hmm,
yeah, it is really a good in any solution for it because not many urban areas have this access to food. You'll realize that we source our food from very distant places, and in an urban area, people tend to get, I mean, devalued. If for lack of a better word, I don't know
mm,
what word I'll use on food or the type of food we get, especially maybe
mm,
for these fresh foods such as
mm,
vegetables, you'll realize
mm.
that it has taken 1 or 2 days on the road so that it
Yeah,
can get to the market. So
yeah.
you'll realize that it is not that good for someone. But when you have such uh, things that you can have in your home setup, first of all, when you look at it from the light of carbon footprint, you are just
Mm-hmm,
reducing the carbon footprint of
mm,
food moving from one place to another,
mm,
and you're giving more space to be used for other important um, crops that require they are in need of this land more to get
mm,
opportunity to be planted for that setup. So for urban areas, we have these small spaces that maybe can be used, and so we construct those hydroponic towers
mm,
using very little investment in your from the client side. It
mm,
doesn't cost much when someone gets such a system
mm,
compared to land where you need labor. Here you are
mm,
eliminating things like uh, weeding,
mm.
irrigation, regular irrigation for the plant and
So
other
there are
stuff
no
because
weeds.
what the plant works on is, yeah, there are no weeds for this one. For this,
Okay,
there's limited controlled biodiversity for the system depending with the growth
interesting.
media.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is what we do. And also when you in irrigation now,
Mm,
it's a field that when you look at it currently,
mm,
there's little that has been done, even
mm.
though when we look at it from the point of our country right now, or the companies that have been involved in agriculture, or
Yeah.
maybe in irrigation to be specific, there are so many and they are making huge revenues. And
Mm,
that you might be misled that they have already satisfied the market,
Mm.
but they are just having a small market that has a lot of resources. Maybe they are satisfied with their revenue. They are not after improving or expanding more, but their interest, once they meet their goal, they
Mm.
now don't have that much energy to exceed further. Because I know that is what business is built around. But when
Yeah.
you'll have a good goal at the start, but once you get what maybe you are doing well, you tend to forget that there's also this space that has to be attended to. So yeah, we are trying to open those. We have, when you talk of the 100,000 hectares of land that is under irrigation,
Yeah.
we also have 1 million arable land that has not been explored yet. So
Yeah.
that is where the opportunity is, even
Okay.
for business people when they think of.
So, okay, I have a question, but let's do it after you tell us what's going on in this, because there's something I was displaying. Um, so this is one of the things that this is the hydroponic tower that you're talking about, yeah? Joram? Okay, we lost Joram again. Um, let's give him a moment to sort out the issues with his internet. We'll be right back. I'm so sorry, Joram. Today your internet is doing you dirty. So sorry. Um,
Yes.
so I was saying, I was displaying actually the hydroponic tower that you're talking about. I don't know if you're
Mhm.
able to see it. So this is it, and you're telling us is that plastic or what? Is it made out of plastic?
Yes,
That's
yes, that's
plastic.
PVC. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So something else you're also saying is this one, it's very low cost. So if somebody would want such a setup, which I'm not sure what vegetable this is. Is this what kind of vegetable do we have here?
That is called Chinese cabbage.
What?
Chinese cabbage. It's just beginning to grow.
But then how will it grow? I think cabbage it usually has the big it doesn't get as big.
Yeah, it does, but how can
Or do you get it out of
Chinese
there?
cabbage is not the same as the other type of cabbage we have in the markets.
Okay.
Yeah, it does grow big, but now you'll have to look at where you can't plant much, especially when you talk of those heavy, heavy, heavy plants like cabbage. You can't do it on top as we have done here. This is
Mm-hmm.
just to display how possible it can be. But
Mm,
when it grows bigger, you'll need
mm,
to have some supports around
mm.
it. Maybe increase the base.
Okay. And okay, that's very interesting. And I was thinking about where the circular part of the cabbage would be. I've never, and I'm seeing like down there you also have cabbage on the on ground. Is that cabbage as
Yes,
well? Yeah, I
yes,
think
that
this
is
other I think this other one shows it better. Okay, so it doesn't grow as big because I was thinking that size wouldn't fit the tower.
yeah, yeah. It will actually. You see, the good thing with cabbage, it grows outward. So the other part is that is left inside there is just for the roots. So
Mm,
it's only for you to develop a good mechanism to hold them together. well.
Okay. And also um you were saying this setup, it's pretty simple and it's pretty affordable. So if someone would needed like this setup in their apartment somewhere, Nairobi, in the Mombasa, the cities, how
Mhm.
what is this going to cost them, this setup?
Mhm. We are actually reviewing that, but it will not cost him more than 6,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
so
depending
does it
on the,
Mhm.
you had a question.
No, I wanted you to carry on because you're saying something.
So I was just trying to say that with that we can get it to you, but now we are logistically we are limited with now get it, where you are located. It's what determines whether the price will go up or
Mm,
stay the same. Yeah.
okay. 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 That's really interesting. And so do you provide also what is it called? The last time you were talking about a kind of what was it? You're talking about giving a plant
Growth
specific
media to cold chain.
nutrients, giving giving them
Oh
what
yeah.
they need. What I don't know what you mentioned it was. So do you provide all that? That's now part of a consultancy that you do now, and probably like
Yes,
depending
you
on
will.
someone, maybe hydroponic tower may not be the solution you'd give them.
Yeah. It's actually that is what we have, and it's not about the tower and specifically the only. It's not the tower peke yake we can provide, but there
Mm,
are also other ways that
mm,
hydroponic can be done. It's only that this is one that is suitable for balconies and
mm.
very small spaces.
Okay.
Is what. But we also have this now is a hydroponic tower. We also have spiral hydroponic systems. We
Mm,
also have horizontal
mm,
horizontal ones.
mm,
Now these pipes lie laterally, so that's one of them. Maybe for a greenhouse
mm,
setup, you can have such.
mm,
And for the plant requirements here now, you'll only have to do with will give you we call them hydroponic nutrient solutions.
mm, mm,
So they are just some kind of fertilizers required to help the plant grow, and they are specifically tailored to what that plant is meant to do. Now
mm,
you'll realize that there are plants whose strength is in, maybe they need some type of fertilizer, maybe it's nitrogen or
mm,
phosphorus, and you see in soil you'll get that you have to use something like maybe 1 to 2 you'll get the right measure for this one when you talk of
mm,
like these are 7 plants that here I'll dilute a solution of this amount of
mm,
nitrate to this amount of water, so
mm.
that there is no waste.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joram. Uh, um, I think what I can ask now. Oh my goodness. It's not a very good day for Joram today with his internet. But as you guys have seen, we've been able to display today the hydroponic towers and some of the things that Big Pharma is doing to try and contribute to food sovereignty in Kenya. And as Joram has said, it's not just uh, this is not the only solution. We have so much that we haven't utilized fully that we can. And he has also clarified that import is not really a bad thing, but also we can do our part to contribute to utilize the resources that we already have. So sorry, Joram, for today. So actually,
So
what I think Is there any other solution you'd like to share about big pharma? Because now I think we should be. I wanted us to conclude now with now next steps for our country, and also where engineers can come in. Like, because now what I'm seeing is food security is a big thing. I think even with climate change, where engineers can come in to solve these kinds of problem. And is there a way that we can be involved to ensure that we utilize the potential that we have as a country to produce our own food?
Eh, Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I would say one of the other solutions that we have that I've not talked about majorly is a greenhouse solution.
Oops.
Eh, I'm really sorry for that. I'm sorry.
No worries, just keep on. We understand. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I was saying that one of the things that I don't usually speak about much is the greenhouse solutions part that we offer.
Mm,
It's one of the things that we offer as a service in Big Pharma. But
mm,
when you look at the trend currently with what is happening with the world in climate resilience, climate change,
mm,
greenhouse gas emission is really a big deal. And when you venture into that space, you
mm.
can create a lot of enemies, especially with the green what? The green, those we that support the green climate. I don't know. I have a word
Ah,
for
the
that.
emissions, the greenhouse gas emissions to the environment. I didn't know that was a problem.
Yeah, there's a
What does it use?
greenhouse
The
gas emission.
greenhouses.
Actually,
Okay. Mm-hmm. Carry on.
yeah, they usually uh, create small microclimates within an environment. And when you
Mm,
have many of these small microclimates, they have a
mm,
bigger, it will eventually have an impact on the general change of the huge environment. So
okay.
that's one thing, and we are
Mm,
trying to change it to become now controlled environments. And
mm,
controlled environments, we will not be using these polythenes when doing
mm,
greenhouse. But once the ones which will have to prevent the pests and kind of nets that are used in
mm,
agriculture to
mm,
prevent the pests and winds that transfer
mm,
diseases from one place to another to attack
mm,
the crops. So that's those structures are other things that we do build in Big Pharma.
mm.
Yeah. And
Okay.
talking about how engineers can be involved in this sector, I think
Mm,
they play a major role when it comes to expanding this. You see, you can only do it for a farmer when at a small scale. You can do it as an individual, and
mm,
you can only serve a small market and a small number of farmers. But when you talk of having engineers and also having all these key big players, we should have engineers as stakeholders in this whole sector of agriculture as an industry, because you'll have the civil engineers. I believe they are involved much in designing these networks. Maybe when you talk about the roads leading to these places to deliver the resources well, you can have them make policies that support opening up areas that are arable. You see, we also have arable areas that are not accessible, but having that is a big
yeah.
one. And also, when you talk of value addition for our products as a country, we'll have these bioprocessing engineers, mechanical engineers in those industries, figuring out how can we as a nation not just export these agricultural products as raw materials, but can we be able to increase the value of those things that we are producing as a country, and having this a system that is all connected. I believe it's all connected from the farm to the consumer's table. So in food security, it's just each sector complementing the other. So for engineers, they have a big role to play that I can't ignore, especially with the structure. Sometimes we have uh, specialists in agriculture, people who have learned it through apprenticeship. Maybe they saw this is how it was done before, and now they have subconsciously absorbed that knowledge and just do it. Wanasema we found it being done that way, now they do it. But an engineer will come in with an understanding and tell you this is why we can do it here and not here. This is
Yeah.
what can be done, and this is what cannot be done. So having them understand that, and engineers sharing knowledge, especially when it comes to factors to do with safety,
Yeah.
it's a critical thing to talk about. And also, yeah, when you talk of, there are structures in agriculture that really need engineering knowledge in
Yeah.
a way. So when you ignore the safety of the people using those things, it will
Mm.
be an area of concern also.
Mm. Absolutely. That's very relatable, actually. And now it's when I'm remembering, actually did a unit on irrigation. I think water engineering or something. So, Joram, thank you so much for joining us at One DC Talks. I think we'll end at this point. I really appreciate sharing with us. Personally, my mind has been opened up, and agriculture is something that affects everyone. There's no one who doesn't need to eat. Everybody needs to eat. And I think I've just remembered there's a time I was reading Becoming by Michelle Obama, and she was talking about, I think one of the things she did when she was the first lady is doing, I think, a kitchen garden in State House, because she also had a passion of seeing the children in schools eating the right food. And I also think one of the things that actually is being financed, that you have like grants and whatnot around, is food, production of food. Food will always be needed. So as you've encouraged engineers, and as you've shown us how is it that we can come in, I think as engineers, we can find ways of giving solutions in that area. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, our viewers, for tuning in today. This is Uhandisi Talks, and I've been your host, Marian Golda. Until next time, bye bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Okay.